Spoilers ahead. Watch out, and take care. The movie begins with a Russian tycoon named Karasov, forcibly taking control of an avenue on the French Riviera. After a short shootout, Karasov tells a man to tell his boss that the women business now belongs to him. He is ready to leave, and immediately sends his girls to work. Among them is a woman named Anna, who seems uncomfortable. He approaches her, asks her to smile and enjoy the work, and then leaves with his men. Anna bursts into tears as she watches the criminals drive away. 15 years later, we see a beautiful mature Anna, sitting alone in a hotel, as if waiting for someone. A gang of criminals try to rob an Audi. Suddenly, the main character named Frank appears, and opens the doors with a key, pushing a couple of the thugs to the ground. One of the criminals asks him for the keys, but Frank claims that the car will only start with his fingerprints. The criminal pulls out a knife, but Frank quickly disarms him. Soon, a fight breaks out between them. Since Frank is a former mercenary, thanks to his skills, he manages to defeat the thugs and gets into the squad car. Subsequently, he arrives and picks up his father to give him a ride. His father is a former businessman, but he is now retired, and wants to spend more time with his son. The scene shifts to two men who have called two women, to have fun in their hotel room. However, the girl named Gina pulls out a gun, and kills the two men. Then the girls bring in a woman's dead body, and stage a murder scene, as if the two men killed her. Back to Frank and his father, he receives a phone call from Anna, who tells him she has a job for him, and asks him to meet her tomorrow. Elsewhere, we see Karasov and his associates, Yuri and Leo. Karasov is informed of the deaths of his two clients, and the agent informs him that they have also found a girl, wearing a necklace with his gang's logo on it. However, Karasov says he is not responsible for the actions of his workers, and leaves. The next day, Frank, dressed up, meets Anna, and introduces himself as the transporter. Surprisingly, he does not want to know her name, because it violates one of his work standards. Anna reveals that she needs him to sign a contract with her. He is a well-dressed driver who will transport anything, as long as he has no idea what it is. The transaction will be completed in 3 hours, so he has to go and make arrangements. He calls immediately, and asks the woman on the other end to continue with their plan when he leaves. Frank's father is on his way home, after choosing wine for dinner with his son. Frank calls him and says he might skip dinner, to attend to some business. One of Anna's girls takes the opportunity to seduce Frank's father, and quickly immobilizes him, and takes him away. Frank arrives at the bank 3 hours later, ready for the pickup. While waiting for Anna and her deliveries, he swaps license plates, and keeps track of the time. At 5 p.m., a beautiful blonde woman exits the bank, and walks toward his car. Anna is the woman who is dressed for the occasion. She quietly enters the car, and he seems anxious about her package, which has not yet arrived. A few seconds later, two more blonde women dressed like Anna come out of the bank, the two packages, and head directly toward his car, catching him by surprise. This violates his rule about not knowing what are the contents of his packages. He is ready to walk away from the deal, but Anna shows him a video of his father at gunpoint, changing his mind. Meanwhile, the strange circumstance has piqued the interest of the agents, and one of them goes to the scene to investigate. Frank is left with no choice but to give in to the smart women, and drives away. The cops are on his trail, and chase him throughout the city. He uses his skill and expertise to outrun them at top speed. A couple celebrating Valentine's Day is almost hit by speeding cars. Frank's Audi does not let him down, and the two manage to outrun the cops, and switch cars. When they return home, Frank blows up the old one to erase the evidence. He takes them back to their home, and finally sees his father. He receives the incoming money, and prepares to leave, but Anna presents a new contract, which Frank obviously denies, because of their mind games. The woman opens a briefcase containing lethal drugs. He is told that they have been sprayed in his father's drink, and will kill him in 12 hours, much before any lab can investigate and identify the poison. While she is busy finalizing the transaction with him, his father is conversing with other women. Frank has no choice but to cooperate to save his father. Back to Karasov, who has spent 15 carefree years with his friends. However, he is troubled by the strange events that have occurred over the past few days. Because of the mysterious woman Gina, he has lost an accountant. The trio robbed the accountant's bank safe deposit box, which he witnessed through the bank's surveillance cameras. He also sees their getaway driver, with whom he worked a few years ago. Since he knows Frank personally, this provides him with a starting point to track down the devious trio. As agreed, Frank begins working with Anna in the following scenario. His next mission is to rob Karasov's unsuspecting colleagues. His first target is Leo, the owner of a major local club. The plan is carried out by him, posing as a doctor, and Anna, posing as a patient, and so, the duo obtain a cylinder of Neuroflorax, an inhalation anesthetic. Meanwhile, one of Anna's women pursues Yuri, who is flying in his private plane. The only way in is through Yuri's pilot, and she intends to seduce him. With her beauty, she captures the pilot within minutes, and holds him captive. Yuri is relaxing on his jet when he receives a call from Karasov, who warns him of something strange, and advises him to be cautious. Yuri decides to escape the excitement, and immediately calls his pilot. He answers the phone, but under Anna's command, he lies, claiming to be ill and recommending another captain for the flight. The proposed captain is Frank's father, accompanied by one of Anna's friends as stewardesses. Yuri has no reason to suspect anything, because his captain informed him of the problem. Yuri is ready to have some fun with the beautiful stewardess, and orders the guard to leave them alone, while the captain and co-pilot prepare the plane. He falls asleep shortly after she poisons his drink. She immediately gains access to his system, and transfers money to their account using a biometric device. She then heads to the cockpit to inform Frank's father that they have accomplished their mission. Meanwhile, Frank and his gang arrive at Leo's club. The objective is to replace the gas in the fog machine with anesthesia. Frank takes care of it, and the fog machine blows it, putting everyone to sleep. Anna and her friends enter the club wearing gas masks, and go to Leo's office. They access his account with a biometric device, and transfer funds to their own. They then travel to the airport to pick up the rest of the team. The robberies are planned to be carried out simultaneously, leaving no room for discovery. Frank's father prepares to take off in the plane, and knocks out the co-pilot, to avoid raising the alarm. As planned, the pair heads for the emergency exit. The unconscious co-pilot however falls on the throttle lever, forcing the jet to accelerate. Their strategy is thwarted, as they cannot get off the jet, because it's moving too fast. Yuri's guard notices the unexpected acceleration and investigates. Instead of going to the cockpit to intervene, he goes to find Frank's father. Anna's friend is worried, because they are stuck, but Frank's father does not worry, because he knows his son would save him. He makes a phone call, and informs Frank of his location. Frank, who is waiting for his father outside the airport, abruptly changes direction, and heads for the jet. Security also sets out to search. Frank makes a bold move, and heads full speed toward the plane. As soon as he arrives, he opens the sunroof of his car, and rushes toward them. Unfortunately, Yuri's guard arrives just in time and shoots the woman, but the two manage to escape from the plane. Frank comes to a complete stop, makes a U-turn, and speeds away. In the meantime, Yuri regains consciousness, and returns to the cockpit, where he orders the jet to stop. They all successfully pass the airport, and return home after a long chase by security. To preserve their anonymity, Anna and her crew decide not to take anyone to the hospital, but the medical talents of Frank's father stabilize her. While caring for her, Frank asks for the antidote, as agreed, but is surprised when Anna says there is none. He rages until Anna confesses that there was no poisoning, they simply tricked him with colored water. The day ends positively, Frank's father is fine, and the protagonist receives a visit from Anna. During their bedtime chat, Anna describes how her mother sold her to Karasov because of poverty, and how she was pushed into commercial service at a very early age. She has been seeking revenge ever since. Later, Frank leaves with his father, but he wishes he had stayed longer. He had not gone far after leaving his father, when he receives a phone call from him. When he answers, it turns out to be Karasov, with whom he had worked previously. Karasov threatens to kill his father if the three do not show up on his yacht. Frank has no choice but to ask Anna for help. The team unanimously agrees to help him retrieve his father, while completing the final phase of their mission. As they prepare to meet Karasov on his yacht, they inform Leo and Yuri that Karasov has scheduled a meeting. Karasov is astonished to see them arrive unannounced, as this reflects badly on him, and gives the impression that he is interacting with the robbers. Anna claims that Karasov instructed her to steal, which infuriates him as it's a lie. Leo and Yuri ask him to prove his innocence, checking his balance. The fourth member of Anna's group is seen swimming toward the yacht with scuba gear, while picking up his tablet. She enters the server room, and prepares to replicate Karasov's password. When he logs in, she transfers the stolen money to his account within seconds. Leo cannot believe it, and starts a firefight, that results in many casualties, including Leo and Yuri. Unfortunately, Anna's girls also get caught in the crossfire. Before moving away from the shore, Karasov grabs Anna, and leads her to the boat. Frank is determined to save her, and pursues with a jet ski. Karasov's girlfriend sees a login from the server room, and investigates. She tracks down the last member of the team, and shoots her as she attempts to log in. Frank's father is extremely upset. Offshore, Frank captures Karasov, and the two engage in a fierce fight. Eventually, Anna eliminates Karasov from a distance, ending the fight. Frank finally sees his father, and dinner is served as usual. 3 months later, Anna is sitting in a luxurious motel, paying money to the family of her deceased friends. She also sends Frank and his father $10 million each. The end. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you'd like to see more videos like this. Turn on the notifications, and leave a like to help the channel out.